What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the two new upcoming packages, part one, the physical infrastructure package, and part two, the next stimulus package, which will be the largest stimulus package ever at around $3.5 trillion. We actually have some breaking news on the next stimulus package that has just been released by the Democrats as they expect the part one, the physical infrastructure package, to be finalized here within the next 24 hours. So the Democrats are basically going forward on part two, the next stimulus package, and have announced a framework on part two, the next stimulus package, which is basically what everybody is looking forward here to. So yeah, we have some breaking information on details of the next stimulus package. Now, as I'm going to read to you this framework of some information of the next stimulus packet, is that it is very important to note that things can be added in or subtracted from this next stimulus package, because this is what history tells us, okay? Why do we know this? Number one, this has happened from the second stimulus check package, the third stimulus check package, and will likely happen again. A couple examples from the third stimulus check package. The $15 an hour minimum wage was originally added in that bill. In fact, the House of Representatives passed the bill with $15 an hour minimum wage, but the Senate, there was not enough votes in the Senate, and they had to subtract the $15 an hour minimum wage provision for the whole country. There was just not enough votes, so they had to remove that from the bill. The second stimulus check package, they actually had to add, they wrote the bill without the second stimulus check in there. The bill was actually wrote without the check itself in there, and they had to add it in there at the last moment, the second stimulus check. Also, another example would be the $10,200 unemployment tax-free provision that made $10,200 of unemployment taxes, basically made it so if you had unemployment income last year, it made $10,200 of that tax-free, which meant the average person got anywhere from several $100s to several $1,000s of extra money back from the government. Some people got as much as over $3,000 in an extra check from the government from that last minute stimulus provision. That, again, that was added in by the Senate this time around. The House of Representatives passed their bill, and the Senate actually this time added in that provision at the last minute. So this time it was something that was added in at the last second, and in some of your guys' cases that meant an extra $3,000. Some people was like $1,000, some people maybe $800, some people $2,000 or $3,000. So that is what is important to note here. Some things can be added in, some things can be subtracted. It really just depends on the support when they actually get down to the very last moments of passing. And remember that the House or the Senate can add or subtract things. In this particular case, the fourth stimulus package is going to be voted on by the Senate first. They're actually going to start that voting process this week. Okay, this week. The Senate is going to pass this package first, the fourth stimulus package, and then the House is going to pass it second. Okay, it's going to be a reverse process of what happened last time. So let's get into the big details of kind of what the Democrats, the Senate Democrats, have released on this next stimulus package, the $3.5 trillion. Also, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as they go into the final stretch of passing this next stimulus package. Okay, as you can see here, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer releases a $3.5 trillion budget resolution, also known as the reconciliation process, also known as the next stimulus package, as Democrats prepare for massive spending push. Massive government benefit programs, climate spending included in the reconciliation framework. Also, I want to thank Unforgiven774 for tipping me off with an email about this information. Thank you so much. Okay, so here is a press release from the United States Senate Committee on the Budget. Again, dated today, August 9th. News: Senate Budget Chairman Senator Bernie Sanders and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer introduced historic budget resolution aka the budget resolution reconciliation process. August 9th, Senate Budget Committee Chairman Bernie Sanders introduced the following statement after he joined with Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to introduce the budget resolution, which includes reconciliation instructions for Congress to craft the sweeping legislation to invest in the long neglected needs of the working class. Quote, the $3.5 trillion budget resolution that I am introducing today will allow the Senate to move forward on a reconciliation bill that will be the most consequential piece of legislation for working people, the elderly, the children, the sick, and the poor since FDR and the New Deal of the 1930s. Again, so this will be the most consequential piece of legislation for working people, the elderly, the children, the sick, and the poor since the FDR and the New Deal of the 1930s. It will also put the U.S. in a global leadership position to combat climate change and make our planet healthy and habitable for future generations. Further and importantly, this legislation will create millions of good paying jobs as we address the long neglected needs of working families and saving the planet. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, this is a budget that will end the days of billionaires and large profitable corporations not paying a nickel of federal income taxes. Yes, we will finally ask the very wealthy and largest corporations to pay their fair share of taxes. Under this budget, however, no family making under $400,000 a year will pay a penny more in taxes and will in fact receive one of the largest tax cuts in history. Wow, pretty interesting there. We will substantially reduce our childhood poverty rate by expanding the child tax credit so that families continue to receive monthly direct payments of up to $300 per child. We will address the crises in childcare by making sure that no working family pays more than 7% of their income in this basic need. Making childcare more accessible and affordable will also strengthen our economy by allowing more Americans to join the workforce. We will provide universal pre-kindergarten to every 3 and 4-year-old. We will end the international disgrace of the United States by being the only major country on earth not to guarantee paid family and medical leave as a right. We will begin to address the crisis in higher education by making community college in America tuition free. Again, we're expecting this to be 2 years of community college free for the vast majority of Americans who make below a certain income threshold. Again, there's going to be a lot of game-changing items in this literally free college for the most Americans. Again, there's going to be a lot of game-changing items in this bill. Massive game-changing items. We will save taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars by requiring that Medicare negotiate prescription drug prices with the pharmaceutical industry, and we will use those savings to expand Medicare by covering the dental, hearing aids, and eyeglasses that seniors desperately need. Again, this is one of those things that we've been waiting on for a long time. So again, they're going to lower prescription drug prices and they're going to expand Medicare by covering dental, hearing aids, and eyeglasses that about 75% of seniors do not have, based on what Senator Bernie Sanders has told us statistics say. So again, lowering prescription drug prices is something that almost everybody can benefit from. We don't know exactly how that's going to work and how much prescription drug prices are going to be lowered by. And it's going to provide all these additional benefits that the majority of seniors do not have. It's also expected to lower the Medicare eligibility age to age 60. I'm going to get to the stimulus checks here and the specific items here in a second, because they have kind of an outline of some specific items here that we will get to in a second. We will combat homelessness in America and address the reality that nearly 18 million households are paying over 50% of their income for housing by an unprecedented investment in affordable housing. I'm very interested to see what that is going to entail. We will ensure that people in an aging society can receive health care they need in their own homes instead of expensive and inadequate nursing homes, and that workers who provide that care aren't forced to live on starvation wages. We will take on an existential threat of climate change by transforming our energy systems towards renewable energy and energy efficiency. Through a civilian climate course, we will give hundreds of thousands of young people good paying jobs and educational benefits as they help us through combat climate change. We will bring undocumented people out of the shadows and provide them a pathway to citizenship, including those who courageously kept our economy running in the middle of a deadly pandemic. We will fight to make it easier, not harder, for workers to join unions in America. And yes, we will pass this budget with 51 votes, not 60, by passing it under the rules of reconciliation. Let this be clear, this is not a new idea. When Republicans controlled the Senate, this was back in like 2017 and 2018, they used reconciliation to pass trillions of dollars in tax breaks to the top 1% and large corporations. I believe he's referring to the 2017 Trump tax cuts. Not that I'm picking sides here, I'm just kind of referencing what they're referencing. Today, with Democrats in control of the Senate, we will use the reconciliation to benefit the working class, not the billionaire class. For too many decades, Congress has ignored the needs of the working class, the elderly, the children, the sick, and the poor. Now is the time for bold action. Now is the time to restore faith in the ordinary Americans that the government can work for them and not just wealthy campaign contributors. I look forward to working with my colleagues to pass this budget resolution and a reconciliation bill that works for working families and not just the top 1%. So they have some summaries here, which we're going to go through right now. So it says here on July 13th, 2021, the Senate Budget Committee, with support of Leader Schumer and President Biden, announced a framework agreement of $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation instructions to enact the Build Back Better agenda. The agreement calls for $3.5 trillion in long-term investments to fully offset a combination of new tax revenues, healthcare savings, long-term economic growth. In addition, the agreement would prohibit any new taxes on families making less than $400,000 and on small businesses and family farms. Basically, these recommendations below should basically outline blah, blah, blah. Here are these reconciliation instructions for going forward. There's kind of a lot of information here, so we're just going to kind of go through what I see as important stuff here. Okay, we have some, I'm going to just kind of go through the important stuff that we see here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Number one, what kind of strikes me as big stuff right off the get-go? Debt relief. Debt relief. That to me, what is the number one way to get people out of debt? Stimulus checks. That to me, right off the get-go, looks to me as a number one way to debt relief. To me, it looks to me like stimulus checks. I don't know any other way to get people out of debt relief than stimulus checks. So I'm just going to throw that out there. It was the first thing I thought when I seen debt relief. Also here, also is child nutrition. Okay, child nutrition. Just going to keep going through the list here as I see a whole bunch of things here, because again, this is a $3.5 trillion thing, and they have all sorts of crazy stuff in here. There's a lot. I mean, when we think about a $3.5 trillion bill here, there's like everything and the kitchen sink in here. Improve housing affordability and equity by providing a down payment assistance and rental assistance. Okay. So again, by providing down payment assistance, could this be the $15,000 to $25,000 home buyer credit that President Biden has talked about before and campaigned on? improve housing affordability, and provide down payment assistance and rental assistance. So again, we have talked about this before on the show, and this has been one of the long-awaited things: $15,000 to $25,000 down payment assistance. This could be included in the bill, and it says it right here. And equity by providing down payment assistance. Again, so we're gonna see. Again, this is an outline, okay? We're not gonna have every single detail here. So when we go back here up to this item of debt relief, we don't really know what that means yet. We don't know if debt relief means a stimulus check. I mean, you tell me what debt relief means. What's the number one way to give somebody debt relief? To me, it means giving them a check so that they can pay their debts. You tell me. Again, we're going to go through and look at this. Equity by providing down payment assistance. I think that would probably mean that $15,000 to $25,000 home buyer credit or home buyer tax credit. That's probably what that looks like to me. So again, this is for new buyers that have bought a home possibly recently or within the last 3 years, or will be buying a home in the near future. Again, we won't know the exact details until that comes out here. It also mentions rental assistance. Will there be new rent assistance? I'm going to keep moving on here because there's a lot to cover here. They got money for climate in here. We know that there's a lot of money for climate in here. Clean energy technology. You know, there is, again, not everything is stimulus in here. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that here. There's a lot of money for clean energy and green energy in here. Paid family and medical leave. That is one of the big things that they want to do here. The Affordable Care Act expansion and extension, filling the Medicaid coverage gap is in here. If you're on Medicaid, expanding Medicare to include dental, vision, hearing benefits, and lowering the eligibility age. So that is officially in here. I mean, we expected that to be in here, but it is in here as well. Addressing healthcare provider shortages, child tax credits, and the earned income tax credit. Also, you guys know it as the adult tax credit. It has two names. It has always had those two names. So again, we expected this. If you've been watching the show, we've kind of known this for a while. They have announced this for a while, that there is an adult tax credit in this package and a child tax credit. So again, if you don't know what this is, the child tax credit are monthly payments. I'll just come here in full screen for a minute. Child tax credits are monthly payments of $250 to $300 per month. They end this year. They want to extend this probably until 2025. So if you have children under the age of 6, you should be getting payments of $300 per month. They go until the end of this year, but they want to extend that until 2025. But remember, they have to pass the bill and everything's up for negotiation. Children over the age of 6 through 17 should be getting right now $250 per month, and they want to extend that till 2025. But they also want to do an adult tax credit in this package as well, and extend that and expand that as well. So children are getting $3,000 to $3,600 per year, but in this package is also going to be an adult tax credit, also known as EITC, an earned income tax credit. But remember, for the child tax credit, they changed it in the last package, so you didn't need a single dollar of earned income. They could do that as well for the earned income tax credit, also known as the adult tax credit. So if you're a person on Social Security or a stay-at-home mom, for example, they changed the child tax credit so you didn't need to actually have a single dollar of earned income. They could do that as well for the adult tax credit. A tax credit is actually a stimulus check as well. Stimulus check is actually considered, or the stimulus check itself is actually called an advanced refundable tax credit. So this could actually just be a code word for, we've included a forced stimulus check in there as well. So just keep that in mind. Remember that tax credits are actually just checks from the government. And you kind of know this if you're getting the child tax credits. They're sending you checks every single month of $250 to $300 per month, just because they passed that into law from the third stimulus check package. So they could have an adult tax credit in here, as they have outlined in here as well. They want to include more child tax credits for children, basically checks from the government every month. And they also want to have adult tax credits in here as well. And then I believe this is for dependent care tax credit or dependent. I don't remember what CDCDC stands for off the top of my head, but I believe that's for dependent care tax credits as well. There's 3 different tax credits here as well. And remember that tax credits are basically just checks from the government, or you get them as on your tax returns. They're basically just money from the government. Okay. I'm going to keep moving on here so that we can cover a lot of this stuff. Long-term care for seniors and persons with disability. Pro-worker incentives for worker support. Health equity, maternal, SALT cap relief, state and local tax deductions. So they basically want to, if you're in a state that has high state and local taxes, they want to give you additional tax deductions, is the easiest way to say that there. Several different things here: healthcare savings, IRS tax enforcement. This is going to be one of the ways they pay for the programs. Universal pre-K, free kindergarten for 3 and 4-year-olds. Tuition-free community college. We referenced that a little earlier. It's expected to be 2 years of free community college, basically for everybody that makes below a certain income threshold. It'll probably be the same as the third stimulus check. So if you get the stimulus checks, you can qualify for community college. You could be any age. You could be age 18 or age 80, probably. Free childcare for low-income families. If you're moderate income, it is expected to cost you no more than 7% of your income. Yeah, there's a lot of things in here. I'm only halfway through this document, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go through a lot of this here, as yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Upgraded to VA facilities for Veterans Affairs. Small business access to credit, investments, and market. There could be some PPP money in here. Paycheck Protection Program if you're a small business owner. Yeah, like I said, there is a lot of things in here. A historic tax cut for Americans making less than $400,000 per year. Yeah, that could be very interesting. So again, that's probably like 99% of the people watching this show, a historic tax cut. Now that's probably referencing the tax credits, because technically a tax credit is it's a tax credit on your taxes. Even if you don't file taxes, it's considered a tax credit. Remember, a stimulus check is actually a tax credit. So yeah, they're probably just referencing the tax credit or the tax check, the stimulus check. I personally believe they're going to include a stimulus check in here when all is said and done. Yeah, there's a lot in here, guys. There's a lot in here. So yeah, really good news here is that they're pretty much including everything they thought they would include in here. I personally believe that they are going to include a stimulus check in here. It may already be included in here under the name of a tax credit. Remember, stimulus checks, the official name for a stimulus check is a tax credit. It always has been. When you got your first stimulus check, it was actually a advanced refundable tax credit. So I think when all is said and done, I think that we're going to probably get tax credits and possibly a stimulus check, but we'll have to see. They're probably within 24 hours of finalizing Part 1, the physical infrastructure package, and then they're probably going to be voting on Part 2, the stimulus package, the initial phases of, remember, they vote in phases here of the stimulus package as well this week. So make sure to subscribe down below. I will keep you up to date with everything. Remember, new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're moving on this really quick. They're not even waiting around for Part 1 to finish. They're already kind of starting on Part 2 because they're just trying to get the ball rolling. So let me know your thoughts. I'll keep you up to date. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And you can click this video here to see how President Biden wants to raise Social Security benefits. So yeah, don't miss any videos at this point, and I will see you in the next video.